Well, hey there, American Farmsteaders. This is Jenny with the Gramstead Family Farm.
And Donna with Hazel Bell Farm.
And we are coming to y'all from Northeast Florida as two American farmsteaders doing our best to grow our own food and share our homesteading experiences with you in hopes that you can grow a little food of your own.
Yeah, this week we are talking to Jillian Childs from Florida Farm Finder. Hi, Jillian.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for being here with us.
We're excited to have you because we love what you do. So not just Florida Farm Finder, but you also host Meet Florida Meet. Is that the name of it?
Correct. Yes. So that is our annual gathering of people who are looking to source farm direct bulk proteins. Yes. So we bring people in from all over the state to, right now it's Mount Dora, Florida, and our next event is going to be in March of 2025. We've finally got the dates nailed down. So spring break, yes, Florida, the staycation is what we're calling it this year because it ties right into spring break. So I'm hoping people will choose to spend their traveling dollars on small farms this year and really take advantage of that in March. But yeah, it's a huge event, dozens and dozens of vendors and everyone coming out and, learning more about how we can access farm direct proteins. It's incredible.
And Mount Dora is such a beautiful part of the state.
Where is
it
that?
It really is.
Central Florida?
So Mount Dora is Lake County. Yep. Just a little bit north of me here in Polk, about an hour north from me. And it's actually, it's minutes from I-4, so there's tons of access to it, but it's still very rural and agricultural where they are. This is Long and Scott Farms, or formerly Long and Scott Farms. They are now known as Great Scott Farms, and they have been our host. This will be our third year with them, and it's just been an amazing just event and community that we're building together with that farm. So I'm really excited.
How many farms end up showing up to that event on average?
I think so. We started in 2021 with 35 to 40. And then we've grown steadily. I think the last event we had between 68 and 70, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Well, for the space that we have, I think that's about maximum. For coordinating everybody and making sure the flow stays the way it is.
Yeah.
So this is March what?
So this is going to be March 22nd and 23rd of next year.
22nd and 23rd of 2025. We need to put it on Twitter.
Please join us. It'd be amazing. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit of a drive, but it is worth it from any part of the state. We've had people come from where you guys are, Clay County, St. Augustine, people coming up from south like Lee and Collier County, people driving all the way up from Miami just to see what we have to offer. And it's nice to see so many farmers in one place and answer all of your questions all at the same time. So
so that's a great opportunity for consumers to come and ask the questions of their farmers of how do they raise the meat, and are there practices in alignment with what they're looking for to feed their families? And
and it's just a fantastic resource because there's so many people that are hungry for that. You hear all the time people, I want a side of beef. I'm in this county. Where do I go? Who do I call? Mm-hmm. So, which kind of leads us into the Florida Farm Finder page. Yes. That is kind of the whole gist of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. So how long have you been doing that page? How did all that start?
So I'm sure you guys remember a couple of years ago when everything started to shut down, March, April of 2020, everything started to go sideways. The grocery stores shut down, the restaurants shut down. So all the people who would be buying Florida grown product right around March, April, May, because that is the heaviest part of Immokalee area's spring season, all of those buyers disappeared completely. Right. So at that time, those farmers were forced to either till under or donate those crops because there's no trucking, there's no transportation, there's nothing. You can't harvest the crop, you can't get it out of the field, you can't get it to the stores, and the stores aren't open, so nobody's buying to begin with. And it was just wild for me at the time to be scrolling Facebook and seeing these posts of these farmers tilling their crops under and incurring such a huge loss. And then at the same time to see posts from people who were sitting in lines at food banks that were miles and miles long. And these posts are just like, I'm scrolling scrolling and I'm seeing them all at the same time. I'm like, that's wild. How did we get to where we can't adapt? Right. Now, of course, 4 years later, I'm a lot more familiar with how difficult it is to feed yourself farm direct here and how hard it is for those larger organizations to scale back down and provide direct product. There was some adaptation, boxes were everywhere and bigger farmers were supporting smalls by putting all of their products together and then distributing via boxes. And that was huge for almost 6 months, and then things started to open up again in the fall, which made it a little bit easier. So now people weren't coming to join the group on an emergency basis. Now it was like, okay, we got a taste of this farm direct peak freshness. We know what's in our food. We know what was used. We've spoken with the farmer. Now we want more of that, and we want to continue that lifestyle. And then, of course, with everything going on with the pandemic, there's a lot of distrust for corporations, and people had a lot of questions about where things were coming from and what was being used in their food. And that's only gotten stronger and louder over the last couple of years. So now people join, we go from some weeks we have 1,000 people a week join us looking for more food, looking for access to small producers where they can ask questions and feel more comfortable about what they're buying. So the trend is not going away. It was created on an emergency basis to bring everybody together, but it's just continued to grow. We are looking at reaching probably 80,000 members by the end of the month.
Amazing.
Wow.
Awesome. So if our listeners are not familiar with the page, let's just real quick backtrack for a second.
Of course.
Jillian put together a Facebook page, admins the page, and now has a website for the purpose of matching together those consumers who are looking for the food and the farmers who are looking to sell the food. I mean,
exactly.
It's such a simple idea that why haven't we had this before? Like, I can't figure it out because Jenny and I we're small producers. Like we say all the time,
small.
We're small potatoes around
small.
here. Like, when we have beef, it's like we have a cow going.
Right. 2 shares.
Right. So, we do some smaller things that get a faster turnover. Jenny does a lot of meat chickens and does like farm bags, but that's like from her large backyard garden kind of thing. Like she's not running a crop share.
No.
I do milk, but like I have 6 dairy cows. I'm milking 4 of them. I'm not like a big dairy producing 1,000 pounds of milk every day, So we're very small potatoes. We're very familiar with the necessity of having social media to be able to market to our buyers or prospective buyers. But people don't know where to go. Like if they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that there's a little dairy farm in this little town or that this woman sells butchered chickens. Like they don't know to go look for it. You know what I mean?
It's not on the brochure.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So when people go asking for, hey, I watched this documentary about how horrible our store raised meat birds are. How can, and it's really word of mouth. How can I do this better? I'm not ready to do it, but I want to source better. Your page is where people can turn to go.
It fills the gap.
It really fills the gap. Like you really make the connection between producer and consumer that we needed.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not just consumers looking for access, market owners looking for more product, chefs looking for product for their restaurants, corporations looking for farm to table events. We've had tourists, people who say, hey, I'm only going to be in Florida for 2 weeks next year, but I want to maximize my farm to table experience while I'm there. And I'm like, that's huge. People from Wisconsin are messaging me saying, hey, here's my favorite thing to do right now is somebody will give me a start point and an end point for their journey. And then we just fill in all the farms.
You map it out for them.
It's perfect.
That's
yes.
awesome.
And, it's hard to catalog everything that we have because there's so much constant change between seasons, between availability. You say you have 4 in production right now, but you could have 3 or 2 in production next week for some crazy reason. And It's hard to keep up with all that. So a lot of people ask me, where's the directory? Where's the spreadsheet? Where's the map of everything you have to offer? There is no way I could possibly keep it, keep up on all of that. So I just like to say, I am here to put you in touch with what's available. And we have this amazing group with all of these posts, with all of these sources and locations and keywords. And you can use the power of Facebook and social media to become a part of that, more than having it's my desire that people learn about what they have around them rather than join the group and then look in the comments and say, hey, I want to buy that meat chicken in the comments.
Right.
I really would much prefer to just direct people to what they have around them and have them learn about everything in Northeast Florida, including your milk and your chickens and your beef.
Right.
So and it's been a very unique journey trying to flesh that out and establish some level of rules so that the community doesn't turn into a black market of sorts. So
a mob.
It's been, yes, exactly. And just trying to keep it farm focused and make sure that the information that we're getting is farm direct. Everything that we provide access to, it's best that the farmer gives their own information directly. I'm not a large scale farmer. I grow food in my backyard,
Right.
Not even close to a market garden. Right now I've got a couple of pepper and tomato plants. Don't get too excited, but I am just a community builder. I'm not a farmer. So for me to bring and to have the welcome of the community around me and the farmers who are like, hey, I'm using your group. It's amazing. I'm selling product. Yeah. People are coming to me and stating, previously we were doing commercial crop only, but with your group, we now feel confident enough to only offer U-pick and still make more money than we were with our commercial setup for blueberries. And that's amazing. That is incredible to me that people find so much value in it. Not just consumers seeking food, but farmers looking to get themselves out there and all of the other bits and pieces of the spider web that we've created. It's been fantastic. It's really exciting.
I know. We thank you for facilitating that.
Yeah.
from the big farmer and the small farmer.
Yeah. It's really cool when you find people that are really into building communities up so they're more sustainable. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it just makes the community stronger as a whole. Uh-huh. Having a sustainable system put into place for food. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because at the end of the day, like we say all the time, everybody's got to eat.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's so much opportunity.
It doesn't matter where you fall in life or, politically diversity. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, everybody has to eat. And so, you making those connections has been amazing.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of your support. You guys are really holding it down for me. Northeast Florida is actually one of my heaviest audiences right now, Jacksonville area especially. Uh-huh. So I'm glad that you guys are benefiting. That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. It's I think not unlike the rest of the state, we have an explosion of population here. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe not particularly Jacksonville, because that's kind of, well established. But right outside of Jacksonville, St. Johns County, Clay County, Nassau County is just crazy, exploding right now with people moving into the state. And people are looking for something different. They're looking for wholesome. They're looking for, I know as a small producer, what I get most often is people just want to know where their food came from. Like,
yes.
I may not feed organic or non-GMO, right, but that's not necessarily the breaking factor for them. They just want to know where it came from.
Right. Like, I had a lady that came out and bought some chickens just like last week, and she mentioned, like, okay, like, you don't feed, you're not all organic, but she's like, I can see your chickens right out in the pasture in the tractor, and there they are. They're like eating all the grass and all the bugs.
Right.
So she's like, they're like 50% organic.
Right.
Yes. See, there you go.
Yeah.
But just the opportunity.
It was just the comfort level, right? The opportunity for her to come out and see, like, okay, this is how it's raised.
And that's what they're healthy birds. Yeah. They're taken care of. Everything's done in the best way we can do. With what we have,
right.
And that it's everything's humane and completely different from a large chicken house,
Yes. The ethics absolutely is such a huge part of it. And in the beginning when we started this, I used to get a lot of negative feedback from farmers because the majority of our posts, from people who were just joining us is, hey, I need organic, I need non-GMO, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. And I'm like, okay, you're looking at like a $72 chicken. Right.
Exactly.
So just be aware of that. But then as those questions started to come in and farmers began to provide more information, hey, we're not certified organic, but we do this, this, and this. Is that applicable? People are like, oh yeah, that's perfect.
That's great.
Okay. Exactly.
That works for me. That makes me feel good about my purchase. That gives me way more information than I am getting from Bob at the grocery store,
Right.
So a lot of people are like, oh, well, the need for organic, the demand for organic is so high. And I say, well, it might be, the demand for organic might be there, but whether customers actually follow up with that demand, they really just want more information, and they really just want to feel good about the purchase that they're making and the ethics behind it, and to make sure that it is not a hallway stuffed full of 1,000 different birds. They really want to see that green grass, the summer, the sunshine, and the bugs.
Yeah. And I've loved that about your platform, the education there too, as well. Like on that same note, in the term organic, I've had a bit of a rant recently on my farm, from me specifically. And I said, like, this is why I cannot support an organic dairy, is because we had a cow that needed a C-section. And that doesn't happen in the sterile OR, that happens under the oak trees on the farm.
In the pasture.
Where you found her. Exactly.
Right. And so she needed to be on 10 days of high antibiotics. And at the, when it happened, the vet said at least 10 days, and then we'll assess and see where she is at. And so if I had those antibiotics on my farm, I could not be a certified organic dairy. That cow would have to be sent off the farm, so either I would have to sell her to somebody else.
Right.
More often than not, that's not what happens. They just go for processing. So, or they're just, they're cold that way. Yeah. So, I don't support organic dairy for that reason. Now I'm not saying that everybody shouldn't, but you should know what you're getting. You should know what the reasons are
and the
for
reasons
that certification.
Behind it.
Right. So just having that education. So when people come to me and ask, about our milk, well, do you ever do any hormone injections? Do you ever use antibiotics? I'm like, absolutely, I use antibiotics, but
I've only got 6 cows to choose from. I would like to continue having 6 cows.
Exactly. Because with cows, it's not a matter of if they'll get mastitis; it's a matter of when. I mean, they're bred for high production. That's just the way it is. And so, I don't know if you know this or not, but cows are not real clean. Like, they don't make their beds,
right?
And they're not mopping the floor. They like to put that udder in a fresh cow patty on a hot day. They just do. And so, it does happen. And so to me, to explain to people that yes, if my animal gets sick, I'm going to treat it. I'm also not going to sell you the milk from an animal that's receiving said treatment. Right.
Right.
So,
and that's the thing I think that consumers really miss. When we say, okay, no antibiotics in the milk, that is true of all milk. No one who is giving their cow antibiotics is going to actually pump and keep that milk. That's going to be dumped.
Right.
But people don't always make that connection because of the distance currently between the consumer and the farm. And then, even more when you are working with raw production or small scale production, where, dumping one cow for 10 to 15 days, that would be a huge drop in your inventory. And that's going to juggle everything.
Right.
So farms are like, oh, well, it falls to you to maintain the quality of the milk and the care of your animals. But you can't do that without being, medically safe for these animals. So you have to make the decision. It's not that we're just pumping them full of preventative antibiotics all the time.
Right.
It's not preventative care like that. But if there's a situation that you need to address with medical care, then there's going to be those chemicals and those medicines used. So I think just people being reassured about the process and what happens there is huge, and providing that level of information direct from you guys while you're doing your injections is fantastic. You don't see that in the grocery store. It's definitely not on the labeling.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add, like, I love that the education is welcome there on the platform as well.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference for small potatoes like us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you guys don't operate on the same scale. So, again, it's not, antibiotics is not a huge issue, for somebody who's cranking out beef cattle by the dozens and dozens and dozens, because they can just move that cow to the end of the line. But for a small producer where there's such limited inventory, that could be a big deal. So it's important to know that everybody has not different standards, but everyone's situation is different. So that
Right.
It really provides that perspective across the board that not everyone is operating the same.
So tell us, if somebody is new to your page, they've read the rules. They're looking.
They read
right.
the rules.
They checked the box.
Read.
They don't know what they checked. They don't know what they signed. And they're just kind of new to this whole, like, I want to meet my farmer. I want to know where my food comes from. I want something more wholesome. They don't really know what they're looking for. What's the best way to help them get started on the page?
Oh, of course. So as soon as you join us, the Facebook group is Florida Farm Finder. Small farms are kind of a big deal. And so as soon as you join, my first recommendation is to enter your county or the keyword for the product that you might be looking for in the search bar at the top of the page. And then, because the group is so old, I'm going to ask you to hit the recent button under the results that pop up. And then you will find everything that was posted with that information in mind. You might find other posts where people have requested for product close to you or similar to your needs, and you can go through already created recommendations. If you are shy and you don't really want to put yourself out there, that is the best way. Dig through the history that we have, go through other people's in search of posts, and just aggressively follow everything that you can. That will change your whole Facebook feed. I don't have regular people in my Facebook feed anymore. I've slowly just kind of swapped everything out for farmers now. My family is gone. It's just farms.
I thought the same, like the new algorithms going on with Meta and the whole AI thing. Like, I see one friend's post for like every
once in a blue moon
post, and the groups that I'm in are Farm Finder or something about milk cows, or it's funny.
So
it's a question of how you spend your time. Exactly.
Yeah.
What you do on Facebook, you're going to see more of. And if you want farms in your feed, then you're going to have to spend time looking for that content. But we've got plenty of resources in all 4 corners of the state. And then, if you still really can't find what you're looking for just by scrolling through recent information, which would be a rare case, but maybe you're looking for camel milk or something that doesn't pop up frequently, then you are more than welcome, as long as you include your location, to create an ISO, or in search of post. And, you may get 5 responses, you may get 500 responses. It really depends on the feedback that we get, or the availability of the product that you have and the season. But if you tell us where you are, where you're located, and what you are kind of looking for, just give us, just some basic idea, whether you want beef, proteins, veggies, or all of the above. We can definitely get you started and get you connected with those people in your area. And then the best part about that is, as you learn more, you can bring those groups and those pages into the group to make us grow even further. So that's all we do. We just grow. We grow farmers, we grow consumers, we grow information, we just grow.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you so much. It's been quite a ride over the last 4 years.
So how is the website different from the Facebook page?
So the website, originally, I just kind of used it to sell vendor spaces and get info about my events and merchandise and that sort of thing out. As I have become more comfortable providing information from farms that are well established, I've also created a couple of different resource lists by product. So right now, you can find corn, you can find grapes, and you can find the old strawberry list from early in the season. Just basically everyone who has really participated in group and provided their product, and I know that this year they're going to offer more. So I'm started to kind of putting those resource lists together. You guys know I'm not a big fan of spreadsheets spreadsheets or constantly updating that information. But I don't mind gathering a couple of the people that I know are going to offer crop and saying, here you go, and start on the season. So you're going to find that for grapes. There's immediate availability for corn right now, especially in the central and northern part of the state. And then most of it is just other information, people that we've partnered with. This year I became a partner with the Florida Certified Organic Growers Project and their local food project. So you're going to find some resources there. If you are a farmer or you are interested in using your EBT or becoming EBT, being able to accept EBT on the farm. Right. We have information for that for you. We have information about regulations. And then on top of everything else, you can also use what's called the pinned post in Farm Finder, which is just a list of all of the biggest, most talked about things that we get. So if we get a lot of feedback on a specific question, I'll go ahead and grab that post and put it in the pinned post. That way, now we know where all the chicken feed sources are. Now we know where all the beef that's grass-fed, grass-finished is.
It's like an FAQ. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, kind of like a frequently asked questions. Just something where, hey, we had a lot of discussion on this topic. Let's go ahead and move it over into the master list. So now we've got, I think, close to 40 different topics there as well.
Wow.
So if you can't find food in my group, you're not looking hard enough.
It's there for sure. Maybe not camel milk, but the rest of it's there.
Well, that was the first dairy question we ever got, and I did not know this about camel milk. But yeah, Tiffany, one of my admins before she was an admin, came into the group. First question right off the bat: where can I find camel milk? And we actually did. We spent about a day and a half, thoroughly searching in 2020, back when I had no idea what I was doing, looking for camels in Florida. And there's no official camel dairy in Florida. There is one in Missouri at that time, but I don't think they're currently in operation. But camel milk is supposed to be some of the most nutritionally sound dairy on the planet. And there's certain proteins and stuff in it. But I learned that was right off the bat. I was like, oh, this is going to be an interesting ride.
Yes.
Right off
what an introduction.
Okay. But that's also something else we can offer. When farmers are looking at what is my next big thing, where do I focus my attention, where do I spend my money to make sure that I get the most dollars, you can also do that as a producer. You can look into the group and see what people are looking for, see where other farmers are sourcing their inputs and their materials and their feed, and kind of get a feel for what the state is buying, which is also an amazing thing that I did not expect to happen.
Yeah, it is. It's also a good place to be able to know what's the going rate for fill in the blank
pricing. Yes.
As you're thinking about a prospective crop or protein, to know, what are the possibilities there, and what's my overhead going to be, and is that going to be worth it? And Florida's a big state. So what happens in South Florida is not the same as what happens in the Panhandle, right?
Not at all. It's 2 to 3 months difference in crop seasons between the two. It's insane.
Right, exactly. So it's interesting to be able, as a producer, to get on there and see what's happening when and what the prices are, and then same as a consumer to know when to shop seasonally here or in Plant City.
Right.
It's good on both ends.
And you also, as you watch the seasons kind of roll up the state, it's always fun for me to see little differences and changes. Like this year was an okay season in the beginning for strawberries, and it definitely sped up a little bit toward the end. But blueberries was enormous. It was incredible. A huge season for blueberries this year. Pricing still not where we are because we have a lot of international competition, but just production wise, a huge season for blueberries. But we already knew in the beginning of the season that mangoes this year just not so much because of the wet winter. So it's kind of unique to see all of those patterns shift and adjust as we move into each season, because there's so much information available, and to kind of get a feel for, okay, this crop's not going to do so great, but this one over here is going to be fantastic. So be prepared for a lot of posts and a lot of good pricing for that item. So you can kind of stay ahead of all of that, which is, again, something else I never considered when I was going to put the group together.
Okay, so let's speak to our out of Florida listeners.
Right, because we have a ton of out of Florida listeners.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of folks like in like the Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia areas. And then even like as far north as folks up in Canada.
A lot of New England too.
Yeah. So what about those folks? Like, I mean, do you know of any type of resource that is kind of built similar to yours in different states? Or do you have any advice maybe for if somebody was kind of interested in maybe like taking the plunge and trying to start something up like this?
Honestly, it can be done without access to the farmers, because in the beginning, the first year to almost 2 years, it was just me sharing stuff from other people who did not participate in the group. So It can be done without having all of the same info and access to the farmers that we have here now. It's difficult, because it's hard to feel confident about the information you're presenting. And you're kind of like, well, go to this source if you need info, but I can't really give you any more than a Facebook link. But it would just be to connect with your locals. Obviously, go to your farmers markets, figure out who those people are talking to, and build out from the center. If you have a really good farmers market in the area and it's been around for a good long while, dig into the bones of those people and figure out, who else is on the fringe of that, and just bring people into a central location. Facebook is so amazing for building community and bringing everyone into a central group that they can address every day. I tell most of my farmers, if you do not have a group created to make your customers feel like they are special, you can have your business page and get your information and announcements and stuff out, but you're really going to retain that customer base if you can engage with them on your own separate platforms. So having that community and that group and bringing people in, both consumers and farmers, something that they can join together and get connected with and get phone numbers and send messages, some sort of media format. Doesn't have to be Facebook, but bringing people together electronically is huge, because in rural areas like the North, it's hard to bring everybody together into one solid location. Originally I was like, oh, Meet's going to change the world. We don't have anything like that. And then I realized the logistics of bringing all those farmers in at one time, oh my God. But having the constant electronic platform that we can come back to every day in some cases is huge.
It keeps it all going and growing.
Yes.
Yeah. And like we can dog social media all day long if we want to. You can pick apart all the negative aspects about anything in life. But at the end of the day, online community is still community, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And use the power for good.
It's just where we are. Yeah.
And it's such a amazing strength, because you can, there are times where it's just been 24 hours and I look at the metrics for a post, especially something where like there's a free opportunity or where like honey is involved and people want to put bees on property, and I'll hit refresh on the page and it's only been 20 or 30 minutes and there's been hundreds of shares in that time, literally thousands of people putting their eyes on the group for that. So we retain those people, and that's the important part. A lot of people, especially in official positions in agriculture, have a really fast turnover. So the same loan officer that you talked to 2 years ago might not be there. The same extension agent that you talked to 6 months ago might not be there. But the community is still there, and the resources and the information are still there, and the farms that are continuing to grow are still there. So you still have that access to those people. So it's hard. It's really hard to stay on top of that one person who does everything in the area. So it's building your own community so that everyone can come together and it self-sustains is much more. It's much easier than being that lighthouse.
Cool. So what does the future hold for Florida Farm Finder?
Oh my goodness. Everybody wants to know. Honestly, my opportunities just keep showing up on the daily. I feel like every week or every month now I get a new phone call from somebody who wants to collaborate or partner or build an event or just get help doing what I do. And I'm more than happy to teach the tricks of the trade, and please feel free to use me as a model. We are shifting toward nonprofit this year, which is a big thing. Yeah, I would like to be able to take part in USDA dollars and marketing grants and that sort of thing. So I think that's really going to help. And it will also allow me to partner more easily with state organizations. And so nonprofit is going to be huge this year. No meat this year. We did shift from the fall to the spring to take better advantage of weather, get us out of the hurricane season. And also, I didn't really feel comfortable with asking people to spend a lot of money right before Christmas on food. So we're shifting to tax return season, which should be more beneficial for everyone. Okay. So nothing this year, mostly just figuring out some income streams for me and building up the community. My biggest goal this year is we had 50,000 people at the end of the year last year, and I would like to tack on another 50,000 just this year. We are well on our way.
Yeah.
And then after that point, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody's going to give me a phone call and present a wild idea, and I know I'm going to say yes. So I'm just open to opportunity at this time.
I have some ideas that kind of flow from what you've done with Florida Farm Finder, and so I'd like to talk to you about that off air. But
of course,
kind of in the same idea, but like mentorship kind of ideas. So I think that could be cool. But I love what you do. Thank you for what you do. I think you have so many hours put in to what you're doing. It must be like a full-time job.
It is, yeah. And it's more self-managed now, where I'm not the one providing all of the information, which is great. It gives me a little more room to stretch my legs and do other things. But it's still one of my favorite things in the morning. Is first thing I wake up, I get my coffee going, and then I just scroll the group and see what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So thank you.
What are we going to?
And I want to thank you too. Thank you for participating in the community and for responding to tags and for being so forthcoming about your product and your methods and your availability and just being a part of the community, because I know it's hard for smalls to put themselves out there like that, and it's hard for you guys sometimes to feel welcome. So thank you for taking advantage of the group and really being a part of the community. I appreciate that very much.
That community has encouraged and warmed my heart over and over again, especially in the last year, where we just felt a little more comfortable stepping out of our box. And no, it's an awesome community, and every state should have one.
Yes.
Every state should have one. And we also wanted to specifically thank you for letting us promote the American Farmstead Convention this year.
Oh, of course.
Which is not necessarily a consumer or producer angled event. But
But it was just such a great way to, and that's our whole thing, like just promoting sustainable communities. Right. And I mean, that's why I do what I do. I just, just to be able to bring people together, to get their eyes on these farmers and on these skill sets. And it just makes people realize like, oh, what? Yeah, I can do this.
I can do it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I don't have to go to the grocery store every week. Right. I really can source my own food. It's incredible.
Right. And we were able to make so many contacts through the page to be able, to help get our convention up on its feet and really get the ball rolling there. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. We love what you do. Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for making good use of it. Thank you for, just always being there when I need raw milk in the Northeast. I really appreciate that. Huge demand for the product right now. So I'm so glad that you guys are there to share it with me. Thank you for being a part of my success and for continuing to build on that. And anything you guys need at Farmstead Hers, I am absolutely totally ready to help. So let's do it.
Cool.
Awesome. Cool. Likewise.
Right.
Yeah. Same.
Likewise.
All right, Jillian, will you guys check out Florida Farm Finder on Facebook? Give me the tagline. It's kind of a big deal, right?
Florida Farm Finder. Small farms are kind of a big deal, but you can find us on Florida Farm Finder on everything. We're on TikTok. We're on all forms of social media. Plus, the website has a full directory of how you can get a hold of me. If you wanted to send me an email or a phone call, please text if you would.
That's great.
But definitely, plenty of information there. Or you can send me an email, flfarmfinder@gmail.com, and I am very available. I would love to speak with you guys further about what we've got going on.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Good deal.
You have a good one.
Thanks, ladies. You as well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.